You're listening to Stephanie and Fox, where we aim to educate, enlighten, and evolve your intimacy.
You can find us at evolveyourintimacy.com to learn more about counseling, self-study courses, intimacy, sex education, and the retreats that we provide.
This show contains discussions about relationships, intimacy, and sex, and is meant for those that are 18 years and older.
Now sit back, relax, listen up, and get ready to evolve your intimacy. So this show tonight is going to be for the men and the women. We're going to be talking about self-confidence because self-confidence is one of the biggest turn-ons, especially when you're dating. And everybody has struggles with parts of their body that they don't like. We all experience those emotions that trigger depression and anxiety, and we all have an idea in our head about what we should look like. But tonight, we're going to debunk that idea. We're going to have an honest conversation about self-confidence and celebrating real bodies. We have Adriana Moreno. She's our newest coach at Evolve Your Intimacy, and she is really passionate about helping others embrace their bodies instead of being ashamed of them. She holds her bachelor's in education, and she's currently in her master's program for professional counseling. I get her, guys. Stay back. She graduates in the fall of 2022, and then she's fully all mine. Can't wait. And she's been in a happy, successful, monogamous marriage for over 20 years, and she doesn't look like she's even 20 years old. Drives me crazy. But Adriana is also a published poet and novelist, and she's currently working on an erotic anthology. I can't even talk. Anthology. All right, so this is some great information, and we'll be right back with our newest relationship, intimacy, and sex education coach, Adriana Moreno, discussing how we can increase our self-confidence in and out of the bedroom. Ladies, are you ready to take your intimacy to the next level? Head over to evolveyourintimacy.com to learn more about intimacy, relationships, and sex counseling.
And gentlemen, do you need a little bit more? Head over to our website to learn tips on how to communicate with that special someone and ignite that flame.
If you enjoy our content and guests and would like to help us grow, go to our website, evolveyourintimacy.com, to follow, like, subscribe, and comment on all of our social media accounts. Now, let's get back to the show. And we are back talking with Adriana, and we were just discussing right before the break where all of our insecurities could stem from when it comes to our childhood. So, welcome, Adriana.
Hi.
So, you've been with us now for a few months. How are you liking things?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Kind of a good thing, right?
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, very fun.
So, one of the many things that you do is you're writing articles for us. And in your newest article, which can be found on evolveyourintimacy.com, you talk about self-confidence in and out of the bedroom. And you define self-confidence, but the way you define it, I think, is really good. Can you tell our listeners how you define self-confidence?
Well, self-confidence is how we feel about ourselves. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think that it comes from how other people make you feel. And that's the wrong way to go about it. And I think it starts from childhood.
Okay.
So, you have your siblings, your parents, people that say things about you when you're little, and you carry those things, whether they're negative or positive.
Absolutely.
You carry those things with you, but most of the time, the negative things are the things you carry the longest.
Right? It's like glue. It just sticks to you.
Yeah.
It's fucking... I cuss. It fucking sucks. I almost corrected myself cussing on my own podcast that I cuss all the time on. So, in your opinion, how is our self-confidence built, and where does it come from? I know you say it comes from us when we're little.
Well, the truth is most women feel self-conscious about certain parts of our bodies. I mean, that's normal.
I agree. I feel self-confident about every bit of my body sometimes.
But if we start obsessing about it, this can lead to less than favorable sexual experiences, right? Because we're like, oh, well, does he think I look fat? Or is he looking at something that I don't like?
Is he seeing my jiggle?
Yeah.
As he's thrusting?
I mean, the more severe our body image issues are, the more we focus on those body parts during sex.
Absolutely. I actually had a new client that came in today, and she is they're trying to open up their relationship. That's one of the things I specialize in. And she is so she has no confidence whatsoever. Like, she told me, who's going to want to fuck me? And I was like, okay, so we're starting from there. That's where we're starting. And she has nothing. I mean, she just doesn't see herself as attractive in any way. And it's so frustrating that the women we work with, a lot of them don't see themselves. And honestly, it's men too. It's not just women.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if women can't find a certain thing that they like about themselves, it's going to be very hard for other people to like them too, because you're obsessing over something, you have an issue, and you looking down at your stomach or whatever, he's going to look down there too. And if you don't feel good about it,
Then
it doesn't matter what he says.
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
He could tell you look great and it won't matter.
Because you get in your head.
Yeah.
And like you said, that starts very, very, very early in our core development when we're young.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to think back to when mine started, but I don't think I've ever had a positive body image.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's always been pretty negative because it was just forced down my throat that, you had to be small. And then the models in my time, or we're the same age, the
Yes.
models in our time was, they were little. They didn't have butts. They just had big boobs.
Right.
And here I come with thighs and hips and a butt.
Yeah.
And I even when I was modeling, I was told that if I could shave 2 inches off of your hips, you would be perfect. And I was anorexic at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, the self-confidence is huge when it comes to how you talk to your children, how do you talk to your wife, all
That's
of
what
that.
I like to call generational curses. If you have low self-esteem, low self-confidence, you're more than likely going to transfer that to your children.
Absolutely. Because they watch every move we make.
Right.
And we have daughters.
Yes.
I see it coming out in my daughter, and I tried so hard when she was growing up to not. Like, I was always telling her, you're perfect, but she heard me. And she heard me say the terrible things to myself in the mirror.
Yes.
And I hear her say that stuff to herself. And I'm like, whoa, no.
I make sure that I don't do that.
Good.
Yeah. No matter how I feel, I just don't say it in front of her because, she's getting some stretch marks herself.
Yep.
Because she has a growth spurt. She's very tall, so she has stretch marks. And I didn't even point them out.
Yeah.
I noticed them, but I didn't say anything, and I'm not gonna.
Exactly.
Because it doesn't matter.
What I have them. And so my daughter has always seen them. So to her, they're just normal because I've never made a big deal out of them.
Yeah.
I've always called them like my baby marks. And because you were in my belly and I loved you so much, these are from you and they're beautiful. And I've always tried to make stretch marks pretty for her because I hated them growing up.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I remember I was walking to PE and I had on my shorts and this boy was like, oh, Adriana has stretch marks. I'm like, so what?
Yeah. And?
So what? I mean, I was mortified, but I still acted like I didn't give a shit.
I love that. I would have cried because I have rejection sensitivity.
I had to act like I didn't care because everybody was watching. And, one thing about self-confidence is you can go home and cry and feel whatever way you want to feel. But don't let others see you sweat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Because, it's about you. So when you go home, you can, decompress and everything like that. But don't let other people know they've affected you because they won't stop.
One thing that I really want to talk next about is the way our partners treat us and how that affects our self-esteem, positively and negatively. How do you feel about that?
Well, we've all heard that term. Drop that zero, get you a hero, right?
That's true.
And of course, a bad relationship can totally mess with your self-confidence, like 100%. But it's not about the way he or she feels about you. It's about the way you feel about yourself. Because once you let somebody get in your head and make you feel bad about yourself, it's going to be hard to get out of that type of relationship too.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter how someone feels about it. It doesn't matter how your partner feels because whatever you feel is going to transfer to them. So let's not confuse things here. Sexual confidence, self-confidence has nothing to do with being the world's greatest lover / traveling acrobat, whatever.
Ooh, I like some good acrobatic sex.
Me too.
It's always nice and fun when you can throw some cartwheels in there.
Yeah.
And feel good about the cartwheels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You stick the landing. You know?
Oh, yeah. Stick the landing. Absolutely.
Well, to me, sexual confidence and self-confidence is about feeling relaxed in your own body and welcoming the idea that you deserve pleasure while being able to convey that to your sexual partner.
Deserve pleasure.
Yes.
That is huge because there's so many people, and I almost said women, but now that I think back, a lot of our men, they don't feel like they deserve pleasure.
Right. Because you're in your head, you're like, oh, I look like this, I feel like this. Why would anybody want to get me off?
Right?
Yeah.
And that's so wrong because everybody has something to offer.
Yes.
Regardless of, I don't know. I mean, so I got caught into when we first started playing in the lifestyle, we had this amazingly gorgeous man that was an Adonis who wanted to play with me. And I could not get that through my head. I was 20 pounds heavier than I am now, but I was like, why me? No. Are you crazy? Like, come on. And it wasn't, and he explained it to me. He was actually very, very nice. And he was like, my wife, who was also a fitness model, assholes, love y'all. Y'all know who I'm talking about. You're amazing, but still asshole. But he was like, I get that at home. He goes, what I want when I play is what I don't get. And what I don't get is the softness of the woman and, like the soft skin and the soft belly. And at first I was like, oh, I got a soft belly. But then I was like, yeah, I do got a soft belly because I'm not going to do any push-ups or set-ups. Let's just go ahead and throw that right out.
But feeling soft is a wonderful thing.
Yes. And so it made me feel so sexy when he explained it to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we all have at least one thing that we like about ourselves, whether it's physical or mental.
So how do we identify that?
Well, like you look in the mirror and you're like, okay, girl, what do you like about yourself? There's something going on. You like something about yourself.
So I have an exercise that I have my clients do. It's the mirror exercise.
Yeah. And
I have them stand in front of the mirror. And they need a pen or marker, Sharpie, whatever, your favorite pen, because I know every woman has a favorite pen.
Absolutely.
And sticky notes, the sticky pads. And you're going to look in the mirror and find things that you really like about yourself. Write it on. I really love my right shoulder because it's got a sweet curve. Yeah. Then you take it off the Post-it note and you stick it on the mirror where your right shoulder is. And you do that for everything. And then you have those constant reminders on your mirror that I do have great qualities. I am sexy. And it's that constant everyday seeing it that helps you build that self-confidence.
Yeah. But I even want to go deeper than that.
Okay.
And, mentally.
Yeah.
Because, you're smart. You're witty. You're quick-witted. Because the one thing that I like about myself more than anything physical is how smart I am.
You are very intelligent. And you're funny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's what I like the most about myself. And that gives me a lot of confidence. The fact that I can make people laugh.
Yeah.
That gives me a lot of confidence. And even when I'm not feeling the best physically, I have that to fall back on.
I love that.
Yeah. Because I'm like, oh, I feel shitty today, but I'm still funny.
I'm a fucking comedian.
Absolutely. That cracked me up.
I like a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's good for the soul. You know that.
And that's true. I mean, I'm so fixated on our body, but you're right. What about that mental element?
Because some women, they might not be able to identify just yet the physical thing that's good about them.
Yeah.
They still might be struggling with that. But I know you got something mentally that you like about
Absolutely.
yourself.
Yeah. And if you are going to be joining us at our play shops when we go to Mexico, Sex Experience with SDC.com, we are actually going to be hosting a play shop that we're going to have you doing this, but you're going to see yourself through somebody else's eyes. And what's really cool about this workshop is strangers are going to tell you how beautiful you are and what they appreciate about your body that they see. This is based off of body, and it's about building self-confidence in this moment. Now, of course, I love how you threw the mental in there, and I'm, being a mental health professional, and that's all I think about. I didn't even think about that. So I feel kind of, well, thank you.
But when your first impression of somebody is the way
they look. And in our lifestyle,
absolutely,
that look gets you laid.
Absolutely.
And
that's the first thing you see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not also the look that gets you laid. So one of the things that I find so sexy is when curvaceous women know they're fucking sexy and they own that shit.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter. I may not I may not have been attracted to a bigger woman previously, but if she's got that self-confidence, but I'm also sapiosexual, it's all about the mind. And if I just see you exuding that positive energy, it turns me on.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Yeah.
It's all about that.
Yep.
We've had some really great talks so far, but I kind of want to move into the sexy stuff. So why is it important to have healthy self-esteem when it comes to sex? Specifically, sex.
Well, when it comes to sex, if we are not feeling ourselves, why would we expect anybody to feel us?
I agree.
If you're not feeling how good you look, he's going to pick up on that energy, or your partner is going to pick up on that energy.
So it's all about the energy.
Yes. So if you don't show your partner that you are content in what you're doing, they're going to notice.
Yeah.
They're going to feel it. And then they might think they did something wrong.
Absolutely.
They might start thinking that, am I the problem?
I love that TikTok. Am I the problem? Is it me? Is it me?
Right.
But you're right. And maybe you have a problem area. So what can you do to fix the problem areas? I, for one, have got a tummy. I've got a soft tummy, according to an Adonis. You're welcome. But it bothers me. And so if I'm going to be playing with new partners, or if I'm going on a date or something like that, I might wear like a cute binder, something, little corset.
Absolutely, like a corset. Yes, absolutely.
That makes me feel sexy.
Yeah, and that's great because, you can still be in the moment. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing that all the time, because then it's like, you're covering
Yes,
it.
yes.
Because eventually you're just going to have to be like.
Eventually, you're right.
Yeah. But when you're easing into things, that's perfectly fine to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. That's fine.
And I love that we have the tools. So for men and women, we have tools that we can make ourselves feel sexy until we're comfortable with that person and we start to see how they're really going to treat us.
Right.
So it's all about understanding who we are and getting to know them.
Yes.
And that builds our self-esteem and our self-confidence and our sexiness when it comes to sex.
Yes. And you should talk to your partner about things.
Oh, wait, did you just mean we were supposed to communicate with our partners?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. How can that build our self-esteem?
Oh.
All right, so this is some great information, and we'll be right back with our newest relationship, intimacy, and sex education coach, Adriana Moreno, discussing how we can increase our self-confidence in and out of the bedroom. Ladies, are you ready to take your intimacy to the next level? Head over to evolveyourintimacy.com to learn more about intimacy, relationships, and sex counseling.
And gentlemen, do you need a little bit more? Head over to our website to learn tips on how to communicate with that special someone and ignite that flame.
If you enjoy our content and guests and would like to help us grow, go to our website, evolveyourintimacy.com, to follow, like, subscribe, and comment on all of our social media accounts. Now, let's get back to the show. Oh, wait, did you just mean we were supposed to communicate with our partners?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow. How can that build our self-esteem?
Oh. Well, when you talk about sex with your partner, it makes it less complicated,
Yeah.
It makes them realize that you're like really into them.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to sit there and talk about sex on a deeper level, like, you must be really into me that you want to have this conversation with me where we can talk about, our issues, our self-confidence problems, anything that's going on. We can talk about it and correlate it to how we can make our intimacy better.
So if we're playing with new partners how do we have that conversation when we play with new partners?
New partners. That's a tough one.
I know.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Well, that's why it's important to get that self-confidence before
you start playing with new partners?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. And also building that relationship, you don't have to, unless you're at a swingers club or at a party or at I shouldn't say swingers, I should say lifestyle establishment. More than likely, you're going to be dressed to be confident,
Yes.
right? But if it's a new partner that you want to establish, maybe a long-term play partner or playing with, absolutely have that conversation. And that conversation, to me, this is how it looks to me. And so you kind of tell me what you think. But, it can be anything about, well, I have a little bit of an insecurity with this. So when we play, I would prefer not to touch that part of my body.
Yes.
And that's also that honesty you're building with them. I mean, and it can also come from like a trauma, maybe anything. If you have a scar that you're self-conscious about, and anything, you can talk to that person and say, this is where I'm at with it.
Right.
And I'm almost positive that just 99.99999% of the time, that play partner is not even going to be turned off by that. They're going to be,
because guess what? They probably have the same things going on.
Right?
They have the same issues.
And we talk about it.
The guy might be like, oh, well, I got a small dick.
All right. Exactly. And he may be self-confident about that. I mean, not self-confident. You know what I'm talking about. Not self-confident.
Self-conscious?
Self-conscious. Thank you. I couldn't get that word out for anything, but we're just going to go with it. But you're right.
Yeah.
And so even that's another great point to kind of go into is even if you don't have the most beautiful breast or the biggest dick.
But who's the hell to say what's the most beautiful anyways?
Exactly.
Because everybody has their idea of what's beautiful.
I agree. But we get so stuck in our
because
head.
That's what society tells us.
Society tells us. Yes.
Yeah.
I cannot appreciate more the body positivity that's coming into the world today.
Yeah.
Lizzo is doing so much for the world when it comes to women and loving their bodies, but also men loving their bodies, because she's just like, you know what? This is who I am. Take it or leave it. And that's sending such a positive message to the young girls and the young women, even young men today, the young people. I just need to quit generalizing or, it's just fuck the young people.
Yeah.
And letting them know that it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. Whatever you have going on.
We've had it going on before. It's not like this is new stuff.
I know, but we weren't given the...
Yeah, and now there's so many tools, that they can use to, reflect upon. Yeah. And we didn't have those tools.
We didn't.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If somebody called us a name, we're just like,
and girlfriend, I was crying in the corner having somebody come pick me up.
And
or
I
something.
would have came and beat those people up. That's what I would have done.
I wish I had the confidence of my daughter when I was her age. I really honestly think I would rule the world if I had her confidence.
Yeah, my daughter has that same.
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
Mine
she
either.
Doesn't care.
But if I could harness that confidence and go back and talk to myself, okay, maybe 30 years ago. About 30.
You know why? That's a reflection of you that she has that confidence. You know that.
I get that. Exactly.
Yeah.
However, if I could have had it back in the day.
I wish I had it too.
Yeah.
I wish I had it too. That was a mess. But I didn't let it show.
No.
That's the thing. I didn't. I went home and cried about it.
I completely let it show.
Yeah, I didn't.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think that now we have the opportunity to be honest about the things that we're not comfortable with.
Yeah.
And, having those, like you said, those conversations.
Yeah.
And especially when you're in the lifestyle, because you're comparing yourself to everybody and you're thinking, oh, well, that beautiful woman over there, look at her. Look,
yeah.
And my husband wants her. I can't compare to that. And that gets in your head if you're
Absolutely.
not careful. So what do you think when women are looking and comparing themselves? How do you want them to really respond to that?
Well, I think you should be aware of your self-talk. So practice realizing when you have these self-criticizing thoughts sneak into your mind. So once you acknowledge that these thoughts are present, you've already won half the battle.
So what kind of thoughts are we talking about?
We're talking about, oh, look at my cellulite, look at my fat, look at my whatever.
My breasts are too saggy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how can we change that self-talk?
Well, we need to work on exchanging those disparaging thoughts with reassuring thoughts like, girl, you look good.
Ow!
You're amazing.
How can our partners help us with that?
The one thing our partners can do is never criticize. Or don't criticize your partner about anything physically. I honestly think that's shitty.
I get that, but you also, I want the honesty. If I don't look good in something, I want to know that.
Oh, that's different.
Okay.
Like, I ask my husband all the time, like, do I look stupid in this outfit? Like, do I look dumb? Or I look fat? Or whatever? Because I don't look fat either. But, so what?
That's right.
Yeah.
At
so
the end
what?
of the night, you're going home with your man.
Yeah. So
or your woman.
My husband does help me with that. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if he tells me I look good in an outfit.
It doesn't?
No, because if I think I look stupid in it, I'm going to obsess over it.
That is true.
The entire night.
That is true.
He can tell me, baby, you look so fucking fine. I can't wait to get you home. And I'm like, I look fat to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if we don't develop this within ourselves, it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
It's really not. And I've been with this man for a very long time, and I value his opinion. But if I think I look dumb or something's going on, he could tell me till he's blue in the face, and I won't care.
Well, and on the flip side of that, too, if I'm feeling like a little, okay, I think I look pretty, but, I'm not really sure.
Okay.
If Fox tells me, oh, yeah, that's hot, I soar. And the entire night, I'm like, bitch, please, I'm hot. Because Fox told me.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, though, Fox doesn't, he's not really good at verbal affirmation. So when I do get them, boy, I hold on to those suckers.
Yeah. But my husband tells me I look hot 24/7. I'm like, you always say that.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to know that?
How am I supposed to know if I look good?
Yeah, because he always. Even
So-
when I was going through the worst and I gained weight, he still was like, you look, So I'm like, but I didn't think so.
So how do we talk to our partners about that to help regulate that?
Well, first of all, we have to realize that we all struggle with insecurities in some way.
Yeah.
Our husbands do.
Yeah.
And we tend to focus on ourselves a lot about the self-confidence thing.
Well, I mean,
we don't, do we ever wonder if, maybe they're struggling with some stuff too?
No, because they're amazing to us in our eyes, and it's.
Yeah. Men are perfect. They're like, it doesn't
Well, not
matter.
only that, it could be a woman, your partner. You see them in a light that they don't see themselves.
Yeah, and that's always how it is because you love them.
Mm-hmm.
And they could, have gained 30 pounds and you're like, I don't even notice.
No, then there's sometimes you do notice.
You notice during certain times, but
you have to be honest about it.
I think you should be honest about it, but I don't think you should be offensive. And I think that we need to work on as people.
As a human race.
Not being jerks. I think we need to work on being jerks just in general.
Yeah.
Because just because you see a little fat roll doesn't mean you got to point them out. Like, geez.
Exactly.
Especially not right now.
So we have been to some of, actually, one of our favorite places to go, Fox and I, is to Hedonism 2 in Jamaica. And everybody, if you've not heard the podcast about Hedonism 2, guys, y'all should go back and listen.
It's awesome.
I'm very real in that one and tell you everything.
I loved it.
But me being able to come out of my bathing suit or my clothes, I can't tell you how many times, I walked to the door and I was like, okay, I can do this, and I'd walk back. And I'd walk to the door, okay, I can do this and I can do this. And there's the nude side, and then there's the clothing optional side. And I wanted to be on that nude side so damn bad because that's where the party was.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can do it. And then, so the whole walk down there, I'm beating myself up. I'm like, because, you're barefoot, because I'm barefoot. Why not? It's Jamaica. I don't why wear clothes.
Yeah.
I should, looking back, should probably wear flip-flops in the future. I'll think about that.
Was the sand hot?
No, it's gravel.
Oh, okay.
But it is hot sometimes. I'm not going to lie. But, you're walking and you're kind of jiggling. And I'm thinking the whole way there, I'm like, oh, God, here it goes. I'm just jiggling. That's what I felt like as I was walking there. And then I get to the nude pool and there are bodies, big bodies, little bodies, tall bodies, short bodies, brown bodies, white bodies, bodies. And everybody was having a good time.
Yeah.
And immediately I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Because you saw that you weren't alone.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay.
Yeah. And
I could do this.
That was such a confidence booster for me. And I want everybody to be able to have that moment where they step out and they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I didn't even think I wore clothes the rest of the 7 days.
I'm like, we are all imperfect people.
Yes, absolutely. But we have to really understand that and embrace that. And that's where I feel like we don't embrace it. Mm-hmm. So in your article, you mentioned that being the person you want to be with. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, I believe that exercising kindness to our wonderful, ever-changing, and fallible selves.
Yeah, we are fallible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It allows us to build a foundation for experiencing enjoyment, and then we can develop a deeper, more satisfying connection. I mean, not only with our sexual partners, but more importantly, with ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That relationship is so imperative. But we forget that.
Yeah.
And we forget that we're not perfect.
Yeah.
One thing that I kind of want to move into is what are some signs of low self-confidence? Because people can be listening to this and they're like, oh, I got this. But then there's these little signs, these little microaggressions that we have, and that could be hurting us.
Yeah.
So talk to me about kind of what you feel like might be some signs of low self-confidence.
Well, there might be maybe a resistance to meeting new people.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think that is?
I mean, we might be introverts.
Uh-huh.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm out.
I don't believe that.
Totally.
Okay.
When I come outside of my show, it's a different story.
Okay.
But, sometimes your partner may be like, oh, let's go do this. Let's go hang out. And you're like,
yeah.
I don't really want to meet new people. I'm scared.
And that fear of rejection. What if they don't like me?
Yeah. And then even if you meet them and it seems like it goes well, you're in your head about it. Like, as soon as you leave, you're like, oh my God, did I say something dumb?
I know. And so I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Especially, when we're going on dates with couples, you're trying to get 4 people to connect. That's a lot. It's hard to get 2 people to connect.
That's very difficult.
And so if you go in with low self-confidence, you're already 3, I guess, stages behind the ball game, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to refer to, but you're just behind.
Yeah.
You need to present yourself as somebody who's confident and just kind of avoid that.
Because when you show low self-confidence, other people pick up on that and they'll do it too. Mm-hmm. They'll start questioning themselves, like, "Oh,
am I even this?"
Yeah,
yes.
Because they'll think you might be being standoffish, and they'll go, "Well, why are they being so awkward with me? Is it me?"
Yeah, and that leads to everybody having some
everybody's having a bad time.
Yeah, it's like self-doubt, and they don't trust their own judgment.
Yeah.
So that's another one. If you're really indecisive and you have a lot of self-doubt, that's another sign of low self-confidence.
Yes.
And you have to set the boundaries, or actually, you probably have difficulty setting boundaries.
Yeah,
because you don't want to hurt anybody and you want everybody to accept you.
Yeah, and because you have these self-confidence issues, you're like, well, if I say the wrong thing, then they won't like me anymore.
Yeah.
But it's okay to have boundaries. It's okay.
Absolutely. And I think that boundaries contribute to a very strong self-image.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So signs of low confidence. And before we had talked about resistance to meeting new people, maybe some indecisiveness, some self-doubt. But one of the main things that I feel is the comparison, how we compare ourselves to others. Mm-hmm. And I think that is one of the downfalls to people. I mean, just people.
Yeah. So the thing is, if you are a single person, I think you would rely more heavily on what other people think because you don't have that one person to go home to that's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I think this, I think that.
Yeah.
So if you have a significant other, I think a good significant other would always tell you, hey, who cares?
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's me and you.
That is so true.
It's me and you. So whatever we think about each other is all that matters at the end of the day.
That's right, because you're going home with your person.
Absolutely. That's all that matters.
Yeah. So if your person builds you up, that you stop comparing yourself to others.
And one of the things with me, I love it when my husband's like, you're so beautiful, you're so fine.
He says that you can walk into the bathroom and he's like, oh, check out that ass. It's annoying how much he loves you. Sometimes
I'm not annoyed.
I know you're not. I know. I'm just jealous because Fox doesn't give me those verbal affirmations. But
I mean, he wasn't the best communicator either.
Yeah,
this is something that developed
over
20
years.
I've always been a good communicator because that's what I do. You know.
Yeah. To be a mental health counselor, I suck at communication when it comes to Fox. I just expect him to know, which is an unrealistic expectation. Yeah. And that damages my self-confidence because I expect him to know things. And when he doesn't.
But you got to know him.
I know. But when he doesn't reciprocate, I get hurt.
I know. And it's a thing that I have, because I have to have my husband say, if he doesn't say that I look good when I come out of the bathroom, he doesn't say it right away. Or when I want him to say it.
Yeah.
But he says it. It's just like, oh, you should have said it earlier, because I expect it. But it doesn't matter because if I don't feel good when I walk out of there after getting ready, it wouldn't matter what he said to me.
But that's also unrealistic for us to feel like our partners should be the only one building us up. We have to build ourselves up.
Absolutely. Because like I said, if you don't feel it,
you're not going to express it.
No. Nobody, it's not going to, transfer to our lives if we don't feel it. I mean, it could be the most hot person in the world. Go, you look hot.
Yeah.
And you could be like, oh no, I'm bloated today.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So do you feel like men struggle with self-confidence the same way that women do?
Yep.
In what ways? Every way?
I think that a lot of with men, it's more like power. It's more like money. It's things like that. I think women, we are more physical.
Okay.
About how we look to each other, or how we look to ourselves.
Yeah.
I think that men
is more psychological.
Yeah, definitely. Women, we're just like, look at this jiggle, look at this stuff.
Yeah.
And men are like, oh, I don't got my shit together. I don't have enough money. I can't provide. I can't do this. And I think men are meant to protect and provide naturally.
That's their, going back to our
animalistic
primal tendencies. That's what
But that is what they're meant to do. And when they feel like they can't do that,
okay,
they start flipping out.
Yeah, and they also have some body.
Men have body things too, but I do think those things are at the top because you look at some of the richest men in the world and the most powerful, and they don't look the most physically attractive.
Right.
But you can't tell them that.
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's a mess.
He probably is a very sweet and amazing gentleman that I've never met, and I'm just making assumptions.
To differ, but that's a different story for a different day.
But what I'm saying is he's not the Adonis that the money could provide.
You see?
Yeah. But he's confident.
Yeah. He's like, so what?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It doesn't matter to them as long as they got that. They're like.
Yeah. So money does provide.
It does. It does.
If we're wanting to improve our self-confidence, there are we have to take a really deep look at ourselves, but we also really need to ask ourselves, why do I feel like I need to improve this? And if you can come up with a really good answer, which most of the time I can talk myself into anything with my gift of gab, but then you have to look at, okay, so if I see that this is a problem, how am I going to fix it and actually follow through? There are so many times our confidence is just diminished because we don't follow through. I'll see some jiggle and I'm like, oh, I should do some squats, or I want her butt. Well, great. Do you know what it took to get her butt? Are you willing to do what it takes to get her butt? Because I know that I'm not. ish. I mean, I will do some squats before an event and think I'll have that butt, but in reality, I
You're
don't.
like, I'm going to do these quick 50
Yes.
squats.
Yes, and I'm going to walk out with a butt like that. But I also know that I can do those squats. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I did some squats. My ass looks good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one way that I build myself.
Absolutely. Because if you don't feel it, like I said, I keep saying that, but if you don't feel it, you could, somebody could tell you, you have the best ass I ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you,
if you don't believe it,
it's never gonna matter. And that's the thing, because self-confidence is self-confidence.
It comes from yourself.
Yes, it's not up to anybody else.
No, but we depend on people to feed our need of bullshit.
Yeah,
and that's unrealistic.
Yeah, because sometimes they might be going through their own stuff.
But I will say this: being in the lifestyle can build your self-confidence if you're doing it for the right reasons.
Right. Because
everybody likes something different. So maybe one thing that you're really self-confident about, one person is just all about on your body or your being. And so when you're thinking, oh my gosh, I have this, like my inner thighs, you think my inner thigh, and they're just grabbing them and holding on and just going crazy with them. And you're like, fuck yeah, ride it, baby. Yeah. Because you feel good. So you do have a heightened sense of, I guess, heightened sense of self-confidence in the lifestyle because you got so many flavors.
Yeah. And I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Because you got all these different people wanting you. Like, what did I do to deserve this?
Everything. You did everything. That's the thing you have to remember is you being who you are, being a good person and being just... Yeah.
And that's the thing, because like I said, even if you can't find something physically that you like about yourself, you can be like, oh, they like me because I'm making them laugh. They like me because I'm the life of the party. Yeah. And I'm making people think. Find something.
Absolutely. I will say that there is never a dull moment if you come to any event that I'm part of, because I can feel like crap and I stress out the entire way, and Fox he's like, okay, you doing that shit again? Yes, I'm doing that shit again. Until the second we walk in, and it's like a switch. Yeah. And then I become a totally different person because I don't know, it's my switch. My self-confidence comes on and nobody can tell me otherwise, and everybody in that place is going to feel
it.
They're going to feel like they're the most beautiful, the most wanted, the most desired, because I'm going to find something about everybody that's amazing.
Yeah. And that's what I do when I'm, hanging out and having a good time. I'm like, oh, you're so beautiful. Look at you. Yeah. And I mean it too.
Exactly.
I'm like, look at this lady. Look at her jewelry. Look at her, her style.
Yeah. It's not just about our physical appearance, right? Your style, your aura.
Absolutely, I'm big on auras.
I know you are.
Me and you with the crystals and whatnot.
I know we do like some crystals in our office.
Yeah,
and in my house. It is what it is.
Yeah,
but being that and embodying it is very important, and not getting stuck in our damn heads. Yeah, and asking yourself the questions.
I used to have really low self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And as I got, the last 10 years, it's like, phew.
Okay, so let me ask you that. So how has your body image changed throughout the years?
I used to be very insecure about everything. I had gained a bunch of weight. And I just, I just did not like it. Yeah. And no matter what my husband said, I'm like, oh, that's nice. Yeah. But I hate it. Yeah. And I'm going to fix it.
But you had the initiative to do that.
Well, one day I woke up and I didn't feel like myself.
Really?
I didn't look like me. And I'm like, who the hell's this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, today's the day.
Okay.
I'm like, it's a switch.
Yeah, it is.
When you decide to make a lifestyle change, when you decide that you're sick of it and you want to make a change, you're going to do it.
Yeah, it is literally a switch that goes off.
It was a switch that happened overnight.
Yeah.
And I lost a bunch of weight. My hair was falling out. Now my hair's down my back.
It's beautiful. Those, dreads, right? Locks. I don't know. They're locks, dreads, something. They're beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And, I decided to grow my locks. This was, 5 years ago.
Okay.
And they were like super short.
Really? That's only 5 years that did that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was a switch.
Yeah.
he didn't make me turn that switch on. I turned that switch on because I needed to.
Yeah. You got tired of being tired.
Yeah.
And nothing changes if nothing changes.
Yeah, I got tired of not feeling like me. I'm like, you're in there, girl.
Yeah.
Find it. Find yourself again.
And that is such an important concept that we need to send everybody home with is you're in there.
Yep.
Your most perfect self is in there. How are you going to pull that person out and make that shine and feel confident in that?
If you don't feel good about yourself, there's a reason why.
Yeah.
That means there's things you need to change.
And even if it's not, it doesn't have to be physical. It can be mental.
Exactly.
Definitely mentally, what are you dealing with that you need to change? Do you need to go and talk to a counselor? Don't be ashamed of that.
Right.
Don't be ashamed to reach out because you don't have to do this alone. And there's so many people who think, oh, I just have to do this alone.
Yeah.
And you don't. There are people like, well, I mean, that's what we do for a living.
Yeah.
But Adriana specializes in self-confidence and body image and helping people overcome those discrepancies that they feel about themselves. And everybody needs somebody. And if you don't have a family member or a friend, reach out to us because we got counselors and we got coaches that will say, listen, let's do all of this and let's get you where you want to be.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what are the takeaways that you want our listeners to walk away with tonight?
So I want to go back to some of the things we talked about, like the self-deprecating things. Like I hate my fat rolls, I hate my stretch marks, I hate this, I hate that.
Yeah.
Now I want you to imagine the person you want or the partner you've chosen saying those things to you. Would you desire to be with and share yourself with someone who would speak to you like that?
So you're telling me that if I need to imagine myself and my partner telling me those things that I was saying to myself.
Yes.
I wouldn't want that.
No. So if the answer is no, then stop doing it to yourself.
Then maybe you got to make some changes.
Yeah. So if no one else existed in the world, you'd have no one to be with but you.
Oh, that's a scary damn thought.
Yeah. So if you don't want to date or share your life with someone who's an asshole to you, simple. Don't be one to yourself.
Don't be a dick to yourself.
Don't be a dick to yourself.
And dicks are beautiful, but don't
so
be
are
one.
assholes, because I think I said asshole.
Yeah, I mean, some assholes are beautiful, but then there's some.
Mine is.
I am so glad that you have that much self-confidence that your asshole is beautiful. I love that. I am.
Oh my God.
That's going on this forever. That's the whole world is going to hear that you just said your asshole is beautiful and you're turning red.
It is.
I love it. I love it. Well,
oh my gosh.
I do want to just really hit home that there are lots of people out there who can help. Counselors, friends. If your friend group isn't building you up and you're not the baddest bitch, because they tell you are, find new friends.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Your friends are supposed to be like, girl, you got this.
Exactly. And if
killing that dress.
If your family's not doing it, like, if someone in your family's tearing you down, get away from them.
Yep.
Choose your family. Create your own family.
You need to find people that add value to your life.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Find those people and stick with them.
Yep.
And if you can't find a friend or family member, find a counselor.
Absolutely.
They can add value.
Yes.
And they can help you add value because our job is to work ourselves out of a job and get you out of there because we don't want to keep you because most of my clients I want to be friends with and I can't be friends with you until we've been separated for several years. So get the hell out of my office and go fly. Go fly. Fly and succeed because you're amazing. And I want people to really understand that it doesn't matter what you do, how you do it. You're amazing. And definitely just try. Just take a chance.
It.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
I know you were nervous.
Big time.
It's kind of thrown out there, but it's part of the job. You're just
I know.
I'll just I will keep you on your toes.
I said eek.
Yeah.
Who says eek?
I will definitely keep you on your toes.
Yes.
That's one thing that you can always count on.
Yeah.
But I do want to ask, if you like what we do and you like what we hear, absolutely go to ASN Lifestyle Magazine Awards.com and do a quick shout out or vote for us. We would love that. We are just really pleased and really happy to be able to bring this to you guys every week, because we share our struggles with you. We share our life. We share our ups, our downs, and we know that you're not going through this alone. You have us, and we're not going through this alone either. We have you. So just to recap, the first step of improving your self-confidence is really understanding what it means for you and what that positive change is going to look like. It is really hard to address our insecurities when we're not fully aware of even what they are. You have to believe that you have the right stuff and you are able to pull it off. Self-confidence is a deep-seated belief that you have whatever it takes. You have the abilities, the inner resources, talents, and skills to create your desires. Recapping some of the things, just some 5 quick tips, guys. Make the choice to believe in yourself. To be successful, you have to remember the past is the past, and there is no payoff for blaming your parents or your current level of self-confidence, right? It's your responsibility to take charge of your own self-concept and your beliefs. Number 2, use positive self-talk and positive visualizations to persuade yourself. The latest brain research all shows that with enough positive self-talk and even positive visualizations combined with proper training and coaching or even therapy, anyone can learn to do almost anything. So use that positive self-talk as well. And then number 3, give up the words "I can't." If you're going to develop this ultimate level of self-confidence and success, you need to give up "I can't" and everything that goes along with it. Saying "I can't," honestly, physically makes you weaker when you say them. So mentally, emotionally, I guess pay really close attention to all of your self-talk and give up those negative, self-deprecating words. Number 4, ignore what others think of you. People are going to talk about you regardless, so why not just give them something good to talk about, right? Most of the time, nobody's thinking about you at all, and we get into our heads and we think that others are thinking or talking about us. We're all busy. Let's worry about our own lives, but even if you feel like they're talking about you, so what? Who cares what they think? Live life on your terms. And number 5, constantly acknowledge your positive past. Most people in our culture continuously remember their failures more than their successes. There's almost always more emotional intensity around your errors or your mistakes and your failures than there are around your successes. So the best way to counteract this is to consciously focus on and celebrate all of your successes. Research has shown over and over again that the more you acknowledge your past successes, the more confident you feel in taking on future challenges and accomplishing new ones. You have this. Remembering and acknowledging that you have had successes in the past will give you so much self-confidence. Just rely on that. We have mentioned several times that if you don't have the support system in place for you to be able to get, some sort of confidence boost from somebody else or that just system, absolutely reach out for therapy or for coaching. And so one of the most common things that we get asked is, do I really need therapy or coaching? Because, I can handle my problems on my own. Well, the truth is everyone goes through challenging situations in life. And while you may have successfully navigated through those and other difficulties you've faced in the past, there's nothing wrong with seeking out some extra support when you need it. Therapy and coaching is for people who have enough self-awareness to realize that they need a helping hand. And that is something to be admired, not to be ashamed of. You are taking responsibility by accepting where you're at this moment in life and make a commitment to change that situation by seeking help. Therapy and coaching provides long-lasting benefits, and you deserve that. But of course, people have many different motivations for coming to counseling. Some may be going through a major life transition, while others are just handling some stressful circumstances. You don't have to come to therapy because there's a huge situation or traumatic event that happened in your life. Some people need help managing a range of other issues like low self-esteem that we've talked about today, depression, anxiety, relationship issues. It can provide so much encouragement, and so it can help you with new skills and get you through these tough times. So don't think that because you have to go to therapy or you're going to therapy, quote unquote, have to, that was I should have said my air quotes, that you're in a place that's just unrepairable. Everybody needs somebody. And I'm happy to say that I go to therapy and I'm a therapist. So of course I have to, have someone to talk to and get out all of this shit that I have in my head sometimes. But I definitely want to encourage you to reach out and to just talk, share your insecurities, get on our podcast, research on our website. There's so many good articles. And let us know how we can help you because again, you got this. I want you to know that you are beautiful, you are loved, and you are cherished. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to our show. We are Stephanie and Fox with Evolve Your Intimacy. And remember, you're not in this alone, and we are here to help.
You can check us out at evolveyourintimacy.com, and if you subscribe to our newsletter, you will receive free resources monthly to help evolve your intimacy.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.